Good morning, my dear students. Today it's our second session in our novel, Great Expectation. We are going to take a summary for the first part. In the first part of the story, or the first chapter in our story, we get to see Pep sitting in the churchyard going to the churchyard, visiting the graves of his parents. While he was sitting there looking at the graves of his parents, he met the convict. The convict appeared from behind and he threatened him started first to ask him questions. So he knows from Pip that he lives with his sister, and Joe, who is the brother-in-law of Pep. He threatens Pep to bring for him food and file. Food because, of course, he was very hungry, and he wants also file from Pep to break or to remove the iron leg so he can move freely and no one could recognize him as he's a convict. He threatened Pep and he told him, don't think if you feel safe at home, because there's a friend who is even crueler than me. He can come to your home and kill you while you feel safe there. So Pep, as a child, he feels afraid, and he promised the convict that he's going to bring for him what he needs. Quickly, Pep returns home, and he stole the food and he hid it in a secret place to give it to the convict. And he also took some he took some brandy to give it to him. To hide the missing amount of the brandy, he added tar water, and after that he quickly returned to the church, or to the churchyard, or to the graves. So he gave the food and the file to the convict. In his way to the convict, he met another convict, and this convict, he ran away. And when he gave the food and the file to the convict, he told him why you didn't leave part from that food to your friend. When the convict knows that the other one is around or near him, he quickly removed the iron leg, and he wanted to follow his friend or his enemy to fight with him. So this is the first part, that Pep meets the first convict in the churchyard, and he threatens Pep to bring for him what he needs, which is food and the file. In the first part as well, we get to know the characters of Joe and Pep's sister. Joe is the husband of Pep's sister. He is a very kind-hearted man. He treats Pep in a very good way, like Pep trusts him, and he's like his secret keeper to Pep. And we'll get to know more information about Pep's sister. She's a very cruel woman. She's a hot-tempered woman. All the time she's angry, she's shouting. And whenever Pep, he does any silly mistakes, she punishes him. There are many ways to punish Pep. First, she used to shout, she screams at him, and she also beats him with the tickler. Sometimes she forces him to drink tar water, which has very bad taste, and she forces him to drink this tar water as a kind of punishment. One day, they did celebration at home to celebrate the Christmas party, and Mrs. Joe, she cooked delicious food, and of course there were some missing food, especially the pork pie, which Pep stole it to give it to the convict. He was completely terrified that maybe they will notice that he stole the food. At that moment, the police arrived, and Pep was extremely terrified. He thought that they are coming to arrest him as a criminal, but the police came to the house to ask the help of Joe, who is working as a blacksmith. They wanted his help to fix the handcuffs so they can use while arresting the two convicts. After fixing the handcuffs, Joe asks the police to go and watch the capture of the two convicts, and the police agrees. The police agree already, and they follow them. At that moment, Pep was completely terrified that maybe the convict, he may think that he is the one who informed the police about their place. But the convict, he just he wants to show that he appreciates what Pep does already to him. So he, in front of everyone, he confesses that I'm the one who stole the food and the file from the blacksmith house. After that, Here, the police officers at Mr. Joe's house, they want the help of Joe to fix the handcuffs, as Joe is working as a blacksmith. And of course, Joe agrees to fix the handcuffs, and after that, he asks the police to go and watch the capture of the 2 convicts. And at the end of this part, we'll see how the convict appreciates what Pep does to him. Pep receives an invitation to visit Mrs. Havisham. Uncle Pumblechook, he came with an offer to Pep to go and play at Miss Havisham's house. Miss Havisham is a rich lady. She wears like her wedding dress with one shoe on and the other one on a table beside her. And she keeps all the clocks in the house at 20 minutes to 9, which is the time of her marriage, supposed marriage, but she didn't marry the man she was in love with, because this man, he didn't attend, he didn't come. He just showed his love to take her money, and then at the time of their marriage, he didn't come. And she hasn't seen sunlight in years and claims to have a broken heart and just wants to see Pep play cards. Now she just wants to see Pep play cards in front of her. This is what will amuse her. She's somehow insane, like strange, because of what happened to her. So she adopted a young girl. Her name is Estella. She adopted her girl, and she raised her up in a way to break man's heart. Like she let her to travel abroad to complete her education, to appear as a very beautiful lady, very educated lady, and all the time she encourages Stella to break man's heart. Of course, when she meets Pep in the first time, she makes fun of him, and she feels that he is a common boy. How can I play with that boy? But Pep, he feels like completely attracted to her, and he wants to impress her. He wants to improve his education. He wants to improve his life to be suitable to Estella. But we'll see, even after he tries to be a gentleman, she continues like treating him in a very bad way. All the time she warns him to be away from her, and she told him that I'm cold and don't have heart. Miss Havisham, she helped Pep. All the time, Pep, like he has a certain hope that Miss Havisham wants him to be a gentleman to love and marry Stella. But when Miss Havisham offers to help Pep to be an apprentice to Joe, one day she told him, "It's your last time to come to my house, Pep, and next time when you come, just bring Joe with you." So when Joe comes to Miss Havisham's house, she gave him an amount of money, and she told him it's the last time for Pep to come to my house, and in this time she offers to help Pep to be an apprentice to Joe. Of course, Pep feels disappointed, and his hope that Miss Havisham wants to marry and love Stella, it's all become like vanished. And now Miss Havisham, Pep, he starts to work unwillingly as an apprentice to Joe, but he's struggling to improve his education with the help of Biddy. Biddy is a very kind and simple girl. She offers her help to improve Pep's education. So Pep, from that time, he started to feel ashamed of his life, ashamed of his family, and he wants to be someone else. He wants to improve his education to move to the high class. Pep works with Joe for a few years in the forge, doing work that he hates. And his worst fear now become of one Stella. Maybe Stella come one day to see him working as a blacksmith. So he started to feel ashamed even of Joe himself. He wants to improve Joe's education, but he fails. He visits Miss Havisham. One day he wants from Joe to give him half day off to go and visit Miss Havisham on her birthday to thank her for what she does to him. Joe agreed to give him this half day off. And when Pep visits Miss Havisham's house, he doesn't find Stella there, because she told him that she has sent Stella to continue her education abroad. There's another character appeared in this part. His name is Orlik. He's a young boy at the same age of Pep, but sometimes he feels jealous of Pep, and he wants to take at the same time half day off like Pep himself. And he's a very rude boy. One day when Pep was coming home, he saw that his sister was like a person attacked her from behind while she was in the kitchen, and she became invalid. She lost consciousness and she became invalid. After some time, Pep receives an offer to be a gentleman. There's a London lawyer who comes to visit Pep in the forge, and he offered to him to receive a huge amount of money. There's a secret benefactor who offers a huge amount of money or fortune to Pep. But to receive such amount of money, there should be conditions. The conditions here, like Pep has inherited a large sum of money from a secret benefactor, but the conditions to be, he should always keep the name Pep, not to change his name at all. The second one, not to ask about the name of his benefactor, and even if he suspected a certain person, not to mention his name until this person chooses to reveal his identity. So Pep, of course, agrees, and he was very happy with the offer. But of course, Joe was very angry that Pep will leave him, but he refused to stand in his way. After that, Pep he prepares himself to go to London. When he arrives to London, he expectations. He expected London to be like a paradise, to be like a very beautiful and clean place. But when he arrived, he found something else. Somehow it's not that good place to live in, and there are some poor areas there. So he also felt disappointed when he visited London. When he arrives London, he meets Mr. Jaggers, who gave him the offer. He is a lawyer from London who came with the offer to him from the secret benefactor. When he arrives there to his office, he doesn't find Mr. Jagger there, but he found his assistant, his clerk, is Mr. Wemmick. After that, Mr. Wemmick is going to take him to Herbert Pocket. Herbert Pocket is going to be like a roommate to Pep. He's he will become like a close friend also to him, and he's a very good person, very kind and generous one. And they will be like close friends to each other, Pep and Herbert Pocket. And the father of Herbert Pocket, his name is Matthew Pocket. He is going to be like a teacher or a private teacher to Pep. He's going to help Pep to improve his education. And after that, one day, Joe is going to visit Pep in London, but Pep, somehow he treated Pep in a very bad way, Joe in a very bad way. He even felt ashamed of Joe himself. But when Joe traveled to Kent, Pep felt somehow ashamed or guilty because he treated him in a bad way. This is like a short summary to the first part in our novel. Okay, thank you.